GameStop was sold out. Best Buys all around the country had nothing available. Target reported they were sold out within minutes. Kmart, not being a very popular place to buy your consoles from, also reported selling out immediately. The hype was very much real, and of course it was. Only days before the launch of the Wii U, Forbes said that it will sell out faster than the Wii. A research report by IHS Screen Digital predicted that the Wii U console will have a better launch than the Nintendo Wii did, because there would be pent-up demand from Nintendo evangelists, many of which were introduced to the console market through the success of the Wii, and they expect that to drive an explosive start. The Wii U's will fly off the shelves quickly, and there will be shortages everywhere. But you shouldn't get too excited because the new console will only reach 70% of the Wii's sales. So it will still be successful, but it won't be as successful as its predecessor. Its predecessor, the Wii, which was far and away the leader of the current console generation, drastically outselling the Xbox and Sony counterparts. And with all of the momentum in the world, research analysts and experts expect the Wii U to have an excellent launch. Opinion pieces online will remind us that the Wii U has a strategy for success, and it will thrive in this tough market. Popular forum fan sites talk about how with 1080p, the Wii U is effectively a modern console that can run every game that people want it to run. That Nintendo was so smart for going after the hardcore fans, because with all of the strong third-party support, this thing was going to be a resounding success. The president of 2K was quoted as saying that there's nothing in his body, doubting that the Wii U will be successful. GameDeveloper.com said that on a hardware front, they were off to a good start. And on a software front, despite the fact that prices were going up to the new $60 release price, consumers will be fortunate enough to buy and play their Wii games on the Wii U. But if you searched hard enough throughout the internets, you would find people concerned about certain things Nintendo was doing, questioning in NeoGAF forums if Nintendo was being arrogant with the Wii U, while immediately being silenced because it's already sold out even before launch. Many arguing that the Wii U will not flop in a literal sense, but it may be perceived as such because it doesn't live up to the Wii's pop cultural phenomenon. And as far as the impact of YouTube broadcasters and writers of articles, the armchair analysts ultimately mean very little, because Nintendo continues to produce quality games, and people will buy and play them. That's all the Wii U amounts to. With how high of a demand the Wii U has, it's sold out and was already being sold on eBay for $500 the day of its release. Many fans were worried that it would be like the Wii launch all over again, having to wait months and months and months in order to camp out if you're lucky and pick up a console. And the hardcore Nintendo fans would say stuff like they don't remember the last time a console was this hyped, the last time they were this excited for a console, and that the success of the Wii U is going to be entirely contingent on the amount of stock Nintendo can produce and deliver, because every Wii U Nintendo makes will have a buyer. And the Wii U had groundbreaking technology. It's a departure from the company's typical business practices, and it's selling at a loss. But rest assured, as long as you purchase a single game with that Wii U, they will be turning a profit, according to Reggie Fils-Aimé. Is that enough for you guys yet, or should I keep going? I think 4 minutes of that made it pretty clear about the general vibe of the industry during the launch of the Wii U. I think it was pretty clear during that time about how positive and optimistic it was for all of the major outlets and analysts and Nintendo fans to assume that this was going to be such a phenomenal selling console. And any analysts or reporters or fans that would speak out against the Wii U being a potential success was considered naive, was considered ignorant, and was considered somebody looking for attention, just trying to garner rage and clicks out of people. Because there wasn't a shadow of a doubt on anybody's mind that loves Nintendo, that was paid by Nintendo's marketing, that the Wii U would not be a resounding success. Whenever a Nintendo console is launching after a previous successful one, there is an assumption, a belief, that it will be a massive success just like its predecessor. The consoles that actually end up succeed have the opposite prediction. In 2017, Forbes magazine said that if Nintendo ports more Wii U games to the Switch, it will only jeopardize the future of Nintendo's latest console. Online forums would predict that it might be the greatest failure in the history of video games. Popular Nintendo fan sites, Nintendo forums, where the hardcore fans are, will be cautiously optimistic, in hopes that they can enjoy the new console without it seeing too much of a failure, similar to how the Wii U did, having realistic expectations that it might just do a little bit better than the previous console did. Right now, we are in an environment where Forbes magazine predicts that the Switch 2 will break records with how fast it sells. An environment where hardcore Nintendo fans expect it to humbly crack 100 million sales, because that's what experts and analysts are telling them. And of course, people that think otherwise are idiots, are fools, are doomers, are rage baiters, are grifters. They don't know what they're talking about, they're just making things up for attention. And this angers fans of the upcoming console, fans of Nintendo's anti-customer practices. It angers them that people would call out Nintendo. So what they'll do is, they'll remind you of people that were calling out the Switch. The doomers that were saying the Switch would be a failure. Forgetting that during the time of the Nintendo Switch's launch, everybody thought it was going to be a failure. And if you didn't think it was going to fail, you were cautiously optimistic for minimal success. But during the time of the Wii U, when most people thought it was going to be a success, when all of the major media outlets thought it would be a success, when the overconfident and arrogant corporate fanboys wanted to show a little bit of humility and assumed that it would sell maybe 80% of the previous console's record-breaking numbers. That's a lot more in line with the current climate. That's significantly more in line with what you should be comparing this upcoming launch to. I've been stressing this for a while now. The Switch 2 is not seeing the same type of launch window as the Switch, not the same type of hype leading up to it. There is no sense of wonder, sense of nervous excitement, sense of cautious optimism that Nintendo's done something very cool, very exciting, and they want to see if it's going to pay off in the industry. In the last 20 years, 21, so we can count the DS, that feeling that Nintendo was taking a risk, and we don't know if it's going to succeed or not, but we kind of hope it does because we love Nintendo, happened with the DS, and it happened with the Wii, and it happened with the Switch. Whereas the guaranteed success, the overconfidence, the belief that maybe 80% of people will upgrade and buy these next consoles that are doing phenomenal, was seen with the 3DS and the Wii U, and now with the Switch 2. And this is not to say that the Switch 2 will not succeed. This is not even to say that the Switch 2 will do as poorly as the Wii U did. I honestly think that's impossible because worst case scenario for Nintendo, they drop the price and then most people buy in at that point. But this is to say that historically speaking, the whispers and the talk and the news all around the consoles that succeeded was either of cautious optimism or of experts predicting a failure, experts predicting a hard sell. And that is not at all the case with this console. We have arrogance, we have overconfidence, and we have guaranteed success plastered everywhere online, and anybody that says otherwise is a naive fool. I am not a betting man, but if I was to bet, I would use logic. And logic tells me that the Switch 2 will not be the success that people think it's going to be. And I could be wrong. That's entirely possible that I am wrong. I am just some dude yelling into a microphone making a guess. But it's a guess based off data, based off of market trends, based off of history. Think of it like this. In your favorite sports league, the first place team is about to go up against the team in last place. Logically, using history and data analysis and sports analyses, you would pick the first place team to win based off of history. That's what I'm doing. I'm being logical about this. I'm comparing it to all of Nintendo's past consoles and what we've seen leading up to their releases. But that doesn't mean that the last place team can't do something about it. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But my guess was based off of logic. And logic also tells me this launch is going to sell out. Logic also tells me that we will not know if this is going to be a successful console until after the Christmas season. So logically speaking, by this time next year, I will know if anything positive came out of boycotting the Nintendo Switch 2 from an industry perspective. But we will obviously have to wait and see. Launch date is creeping up on us very quickly, and logically, I expect to see a lot of articles and a lot of posts that are overwhelmingly positive about how phenomenal of a launch the Switch 2 is having, just like we saw with the Wii U and the 3DS.